In Piece of Kremlin Theater, Putin weighs fateful decision on Ukraine. Moscow, February 21, Reuters. Seated at a large white table in an echoing Kremlin hall, Vladimir Putin summoned his top security officials one by one on Monday to give him their advice at a potential turning point in the crisis around Ukraine. In a lengthy meeting of his Security Council, broadcast on state television in what a presenter called unprecedented footage, Putin cross-examined ministers and spy chiefs on the question of whether to recognize the two breakaway Donbass regions of eastern Ukraine as independent states. Any after another, they walked to a white lectern in the column-lined hall to paint a relentlessly grim picture of the situation in Donbass. Looking pale and tired, Putin drummed with his fingers from time to time as he listened. His special representative on Ukraine, Dmitry Kozak, said Kiev and the West had no interest in implementing a 2015 peace deal to end the conflict in eastern Ukraine, where pro-Russian separatists have been fighting Ukrainian government forces for the past 8 years. The head of the FSB security service, Alexander Bortnikov, told Putin the security situation in the two breakaway regions was deteriorating, and that nearly 70,000 people had so far fled to Russia. Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu accused Ukraine of stepping up shelling of the separatist regions, which Kiev has strongly denied, and said some residents had been left without gas or water. Much was riding on the president's decision. Recognition of the separatist regions could provide Russia with a pretext to openly send its military forces into the Donbass and justify that by arguing that it was protecting residents there from Ukraine. It would also effectively kill off the Minsk peace agreements that all sides, including Russia, have until now called the only possible route out of the crisis. But Putin was taking his time. Show of authority. At one point he intervened to emphasize that he had not discussed in advance what the officials were going to tell him, as if to dispel the impression that the proceedings had been choreographed. In reality, the televised meeting appeared calculated to convey the impression of a leader carefully arriving at an important decision after weighing all the evidence from his subordinates. It also gave Putin the chance to demonstrate his authority over the most powerful people in the land, putting them in their place if they slipped up. He jumped in to chastise Foreign Intelligence Chief Sergei Naryshkin when the latter said he will support recognition of the Donbass regions. Will support, or do support? Tell me straight, Sergei Yevgenievich, Putin said. When Naryshkin then said he supported the breakaway regions becoming part of Russia, Putin upbraided him again. We're not talking about that. We're talking about whether to recognize their independence or not. Naryshkin, yes, I support the proposal to recognize their independence. Putin, okay, please sit down, thank you. With all the reports delivered, all eyes turned to Putin to pronounce his verdict, but he was not yet ready to end the suspense. A decision will be taken today, he said, and with that, the cameras stopped rolling. Germany's Scholz condemns Putin's threat to recognize Ukraine regions. Berlin, February 21, Reuters. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz condemned remarks by President Vladimir Putin that Russia could recognize two Kremlin-backed breakaway Ukrainian regions as independent, his office said on Monday. Scholz's office said in a statement the German Chancellor also told Putin during a phone call that any such move would amount to a one-sided breach of the Minsk agreements designed to end a separatist conflict in eastern Ukraine. Scholz also urged Putin to pull Russian troops from Ukraine's border and de-escalate the situation in eastern Ukraine. His office said he would consult with Ukrainian and French leaders about the situation in Ukraine. Paris, February 21. Putin plans to recognize eastern Ukraine's breakaway regions. Kremlin. Reuters. Russian President Vladimir Putin told France's president and Germany's chancellor during phone calls on Monday that he planned to sign a decree recognizing the two breakaway regions of Ukraine as independent entities shortly, the Kremlin said. The French and German leaders voiced disappointment after hearing the decision, the Kremlin said in a readout of the phone calls. France's Macron calls emergency national security meeting on Russia-Ukraine. Paris, Feb 21, Reuters. French President Emmanuel Macron on Monday called an emergency national security meeting to address developments linked to the crisis in Ukraine, the Élysée Palace said. Macron earlier on Monday spoke to the presidents of Russia and Ukraine, the Élysée said in a statement. He also spoke to German Chancellor Olaf Scholz and EU leaders to coordinate Europe's reaction to the latest developments. The European Union joined calls on Monday for Russia not to annex or recognize breakaway Ukrainian regions, warning of sanctions from the 27-nation bloc should Moscow do so. Russian President Vladimir Putin told Macron and Scholz during phone calls on Monday that he planned to sign a decree recognizing the two breakaway regions of Ukraine as independent entities shortly, the Kremlin said. Thank you for watching our videos.